yay. I had to restart my phone and try again. It kept saying broadcast failed. Sometimes when that happens, you just have to restart and go from there. Hi. Say hey when you're hopping on. I'm gonna grab some supplements. And we are starting a new challenge today. I'm about to go on a walk with my husband. And there's Colostrum. Drop a 1 if you're watching live, and 2 if you're watching the replay. Alright, so if you're following our septic tank saga, over the weekend, everything just overflowed. To the point where we were like, okay, we can't really use any of our side of the house. We had to use the kids' showers and stuff, which luckily we had that as an option. Anyways, they got here today, unclogged all our pipes. Originally they were saying it's our septic tank, but our septic tank is empty and we're still overflowing. So, so I think they have it fixed. I'm praying to the Lord it is fixed because nobody has time for that. All right, so today is day 1. It's Beautiful You is the company. I'm gonna do a few giveaways along with this and with them just because I love gift giving. But I'm gonna post a graphic later, but it's your daily steps. I'm doing at least 7,000 steps today. I haven't been working out for a while and I've been kind of sick, so I'm just gradually getting back in the swing. Also, if you haven't been working out, this would be great for you. You could also do 10,000 steps, 1,200 steps, 15,000, whatever your step goal is. But every day you post a picture of yourself on your walk and then you post your supplements and steps. And at the end of the month, whoever completed the month will be entered for a prize. If you want to do it with us. It's just fun. It's accountability. We started doing Duolingo with a group of me, Jenny, my friend Sarah, and all of our kids together. And we are now at over 80 days strong of Duolingo. And I just think that there is power, oh, I made a mess, of accountability. So, hey, I'm posting this every day. I'm doing this every day. I committed to doing this for a full month, that type of thing. So you want to do it? You can. I will put the little tracker in the on my page, but I couldn't think of it. TrimFit. This is the last day for Beautiful You's TrimFit deal. So it's $10 off any order. And then you can also save up to 25% off if you use the code Courtney Swan in a subscription. If you don't want a subscription, then you save 15%. But you can cancel it anytime. So I am feeling really good. I took a melatonin last night, so I fell asleep at maybe 10 o'clock. I woke up at 2:30 this morning, wide awake, dozed back up, woke back up at 4 and could not go to bed. So it's like, what? Well, this is not how it's supposed to happen. Maybe I should have taken more. I don't know. So I'm gonna look into some. I've been struggling to sleep lately. Sometimes I get a little bit of anxiety at night. I've really been like trying to pray through it. I don't want to have anxiety. I like quote scriptures and stuff, but sometimes I'm just like anxious, and I'm working on that. So I might look into some stuff for sleep. I've tried Calm from that company Make before. I really liked that. I might take it. It kind of helps you, but I need something like strong but doesn't make me groggy, and I don't want to be on like medicines. Just, I don't know, maybe increase my magnesium. If anybody has done something that's really helped for your sleep, let me know. Okay, so TrimFit greens, and I am mixing unflavored creatine in here because it's just good for your brain. Yay, y'all have gone walking out. Well, there you go. We're gonna go on our walk. And I'm just gonna do like light makeup. I did get the new Geo Sculpts from Ophir in, and I'm gonna try them. And I'm doing like a BB cream that has sunscreen in it because the UV today is high. It is beautiful out today. I'll show you. I mean, it's not a beautiful view, but you can see it. It is so pretty. It's like sunny. Ooh, I have lavender oil, Luella, and I have a couple different types of magnesium. I need to just look and make sure, drop everything, that I'm using the right type because I don't know, I don't feel like it's helping me. But magnesium is great for sleep, and it's also really great. My iron has been very low, And I feel like that makes you tired, but it affects my sleep. I don't know. I'm working on it. We are just, and sometimes melatonin makes me have crazy dreams, which last night I did have a crazy dream. I dreamt about my granny. My granny died when I was in the 7th grade, okay? It was my mom's grandma. And my granny lived in a assisted living home in Tennessee. And when you would pull up to the apartment complex, it was up on a hill. In my dream, I had gotten an apartment at the senior living center down at the bottom of the hill. And I was making cookies to take up to her. I was not a grown up when she was alive. This is my weird melatonin dream last night in the short window that I actually slept. And in my dream, I couldn't remember the code to get into her thing. So the lady at the front was like, "You haven't been here in a while." And I was like, "I know, I'm so sorry. Like, I've been busy." I didn't even realize she was still alive. So I told the lady at the desk, and I said, "Well, she always keeps her door unlocked, so just go on in." So I get in there, and she's like talking to me just like normal. She's like sitting in her chair, and she's like, "Hey, darling, you know, like give me a hug," like all this stuff. So I'm giving her a hug and asking her how she's doing. And she was like a bigger lady, and I was young when she was around, right? And she wasn't super mobile. And so I would always just like lay on her. So as a grown woman in my dream, I'm like laying on her, talking to her. And I was like, "I'm so sorry I haven't been by. I had heard you'd passed away." And she was like, "It's okay." And I was like, "I got an apartment here at the complex so that I can come visit you more." It's really comical. And so she's making me like cheese and pickles, which was like what she made. She was on welfare, which was not a rich lady. She always had a bunch of like wick peanut butter, and we had cheese and pickles, and that's what we ate when we went to her house. She had a lot of it, and she used to make these handmade angels, and she would sell them to ladies at the home. And then she crocheted these cute tissue boxes. And so I was walking around her house, and all her shelves were empty, and I was like, "Well, Granny, where's all your stuff?" Like, and she's like, "Oh," she only had her sewing machine out. And like her house, I didn't even remember what her house looked like, but in my dream it looked just like her house was. And so in my dream, I got into a fight with my mom because I was like, "What kind of losers are we? I haven't seen her in 20 years. Like, why have we not been coming to visit her? Like, I thought she passed away. Like, why didn't you tell me she got better?" And my mom was just apologizing. And she was like, "Well, I thought she was going to die soon, and I didn't want to get your hopes up." And then she just held on. And I was like, "Well, how long has it been since you've seen her?" And she was like, 20 years. And so that's how my dream went last night. Anyways, do you guys ever have dreams about people like from the past, people who passed away, but I woke up 2:30, 3 o'clock, I guess, 2, somewhere around there. And I laid in bed thinking, this shows you how in and out of sleep you are. Thinking, did my grandma pass away? Like, I don't remember going to her funeral. And then as I woke up more, I was like, "Oh yeah, I remember she was in the hospital like after my 7th grade Dollywood trip or something." And I remember she passed away shortly after that. But it took me a whole like 20 minutes of trying to like figure out and feeling like I'd left the cookies going, dreams waking up. And I was like, "Oh my gosh, I've got to call somebody and let them know those cookies are still cooking, or they're gonna burn. It's gonna burn that apartment down, you know." And then finally waking up and being like, "Whew, that was like that was a weird dream." But I've noticed that my dreams get weirder when I take melatonin. Oh shoot, I didn't screw this on well, so now I've got a mess. Have no fear, I have some clean cloths right here. Anyways. I don't know if they sell these. I got these as a gift, like they sent it to me in the mail. But they do have some tumblers on their site. So if you go to my beautiful You link, they might have this one. I know they have some of the other shaker bottles. I lost my straw that goes in it because I have a tendency to accidentally lose things. But you can still drink it, and it doesn't spill out if you close the lid. Anyways, I wish I'd had my Oura ring on because I was charging it because it was also dead. And I was charging it, And I was like, man, I missed out. I always love to see like what was REM, what was like deep sleep, and what your dreams were. Anyways, if you had a weird dream recently, drop it below. I also have dreams where like I'm pregnant or having babies or odd. I just have weird dreams, but typically they're even weirder. And they're incredibly vivid. Like they look like real life. Oh no. Don't. People message me too and say that they'll have dreams that I was like at their house, which I think is funny. It's like if you have a dream about, you know, like Matthew McConaughey was cooking you a burger or something. Not that I'm as cool as Matthew McConaughey, but you know, someone you haven't necessarily maybe met in real life. Okay, Joni said, I had a crazy dream the other night after a sewage video. I dreamt that we had a big sewage leak at our church. And I talked about the leak and then the Lord, and it got all mixed up. It's funny. Okay, your sister and son say the same thing. Melatonin seems to trigger dreams and sometimes night terrors. Yes. They also triggers me to have this odd sleep paralysis where I wake up and I think there's someone like at the foot of the bed or darting down the hall or like a spider dropping from the ceiling. Those are the three that seem to reoccur. And one day I dreamt that Miss Rachel's husband, I was awake though, and I literally was like, Miss Rachel's husband's in our bathroom. Miss Rachel's a toddler song writer on YouTube, if you don't know who Miss Rachel is. And I woke him up and I was like, there's somebody in the bathroom. And he's like, oh, he like separately like runs in there. I don't know what he planned to do. And he's like, there's nobody there. And I was like, I saw Miss Rachel's husband in the bathroom. He's like, Courtney, why would Miss Rachel's husband be in our bathroom? And I was like, good points. Good point. I need to refill this. I'm out. Jellyfish peptide. I gotta find my refill and load it up. Okay, I'm all over the place today. Pomifera has a deal going on certain collections that you get a free beef tallow and you save like $29. They also have $1.99 shipping. So that's really funny. Anybody have some fun Labor Day plans? My kids want to go and see Freakier Friday. Has anyone seen that? I'm just using the eye wand for all over my face, which is, it will work on all over your face, but it's not as powerful, but it's still better than nothing. Okay, let's do this. Sure thing, Sarah. Oh, we'll check my messages whenever I hop off. Okay, I feel like my nose is running, like just a tiny bit, just because I'm moving my face around. All right, so check mark for supplements. And then I'm pretty excited to try and get in the habit of getting steps in again. The supplements I used today were creatine, greens, and TrimFit, and I just mixed it all together with water. All right, we're going in today with Youth Activating BB Cream. I know this looks silly, but I just don't want to get my hat messy. And this just has SPF 30 in it, and it's from Pomifera. It's their BB cream. But I like this because it has sunscreen, and we're going on a walk, so I want sunscreen. This is the shade number 3. They only come in 4 shades, and they're just like a tinted moisturizer, but they're kind of a medium coverage is what I would call it. Ooh, you heard the new Superman movie is really good? That's good to know. So you don't know what they do well in Puerto Rico? Movie theaters. Back in the States, I feel like movie theaters, at least where we're from, kind of lost its luster. You'll walk in, there's nobody there. Not in Puerto Rico. I guess because it's really hot here and not everyone has air, or maybe they just still think it's super cool. Every movie theater is just packed. Like, sometimes they will sell out. Could be on a Tuesday, could be on a Friday. movie theaters strong here. They also have a really cool big movie theater closer to San Juan, but there's theaters everywhere. There's like theater in the grocery store parking lot. They're just theaters all over. You do have to check and see if it's in Spanish or English and what the subtitles are for each, because I would prefer an English movie with Spanish subtitles, not a Spanish movie with English subtitles. And if you want to know how I know those two options exist, it's because I've ended up with their Spanish movie with 4 children. So anyways, let's see. Blocking people who are weird. What's wrong with people? Mixed reviews. Somebody else says don't waste your money on the new Superman. Sorry, disappointed. So I think we'll go see Freakier Friday at some point soon. But they have a really cool theater near San Juan, and it has like a restaurant inside of it, and it's one of the 4D theaters. So honestly, it makes me a little dizzy because apparently I'm just aging quickly, because I like can watch somebody jump off a cliff on my phone and it makes my physical stomach drop. Well, that's how this movie theater is, but my kids love it. And it's like the side peripheral have screens and everything feels like you're there. And so, but you can order food at the restaurant, go sit down, and like the kids are like, oh, it's like the first class theater. My kids have never sat in first class on an airplane. I've only sat once on a brand trip where they paid for it. But you know, like how they bring you food. Well, that is kind of how this theater is. And you order your burger, fries, whatever you order. Then you go sit down at the theater and you have like a little thing. And then they just bring you food and you can sit at the theater and eat food while you're watching a movie. So anyways, so cool. Okay, this is the shade Clay. We're gonna just go through these. This is the new Geo Sculpt. I've never tried this. It's a blendable cream bronzer from Ophir. They also have a deal going on. The code is Layer Up, and the more items you buy, like you buy 2 get 1 free, buy 3 get 2 free, buy I think 4 get 4 free. Don't hold me to that. It's something like that. But the code is Layer Up. If you check it out, I put the link. Whoa, that's a dark bronzer. This is Mesa is the shade. Curious what these look like on, so we're gonna try them. Okay. This one is the shade Bluff, which looks very similar. This one's a tiny bit darker. How dangerous is it that I just have all these open? Just want to compare. Ooh, love this color. Feeling like I'm leaning towards this one the most. This is Oasis. And it's just a tiny bit darker than this one. Last is Cove. Can't wait to see these on, feel these on. So we had really not been to a theater either until we moved here, and we have gone to more movies. Ooh, this is a good color too. This is Cove. Okay, I'm gonna just swatch these in what I think is lightest to darkest. All right, I'm going in, I'll read them off to you. So this is the shade Clay. It feels like a cream foundation. Well, that's bizarre. Oh, I wish they made a foundation like this. Please be what they're about to do. Okay, very pigmented. I could use this probably as foundation. That is, I did not expect that that's what it was gonna feel like. I have not tried these. Holy cow. It is like, did you old school use cream foundation? Like, I loved cream foundation. Can I wear this on my whole skin? We're about to try something fun, folks. I wish I had not done foundation already. I love makeup so much. It's just so fun to me. I booked Adam a birthday trip today. This is a bronzer, but guys, I'd say this is more of like a It's not a bronze shade for me. I believe I could use this on my whole face. Well, that's a treat. I think I would like to stipple it with this. Look at how this looks on. This is amazing. But when you blend it, like here, I'll show it to you. That was really thick. I need this to be like one shade lighter. I love cream foundation, so this is a cream bronzer. Okay, I just wanted to see, just to show you what it looks like. That was the shade Clay. Well, that's fabulous. Okay, I'm gonna blend it on my arm. My arm is way more pale. Nobody tans their underarms. Okay. Well, this is exciting. I did not know that's what this was gonna be like. Okay, I'm gonna use way less because I used way too much. So I'm gonna barely, this is the shade Bluff, and now I've got my arm all, okay. Bluff. This is the shade Oasis. These look like foundation shades to me. I know they're supposed to be blendable bronzers. They all say blendable bronzer, but okay, this one is the shade Cove. I'm using a fresh finger for each. It's a lot harder than it looks. Okay, and then this is, whoa, this is the shade Nessa. I'm just gonna play with these. Okay, well that's fun. All right, let me have a little bit of a race pre-cleanser here because I was gonna show you that Pomifera bundle. And then, but I don't have the exfoliator. I gave it to a friend who was having some melasma issues. So, okay, cream is amazing for mature skin. Reagan said it's the best for her mature skin. She's been using cream for years now. How do I want to do this? So I used clay all over, and I feel like it was kind of a pretty good fit for just all over makeup. I know that's not what it's used for, but these two here, Bluff and Oasis, also to me look like, let's just like blend them in. Also look like they're going to be light. I mean, it's darker than my skin. When I saw this, I thought, holy moly, this looks super dark. But after playing with it and realizing it's cream, so I'm gonna try Cove on one side of my face, and I'm gonna try Mesa on the other, and we're just gonna see. So I'm taking a fluffier brush and kind of stippling. I'm just gonna play and see how we like this. So this is the shade Cove. Which I would say is a really beautiful, like subtle bronzer, but a darker shade. I'm going in with I'm just playing a stiffer brush and just saying, these are beautiful. So cute. Okay, I'm gonna take this down the edge of my nose. You could also just like run it a little bit on your pinky. I love creams. I wish they would just have cream everything, and they actually are starting to come out with a lot of cream stuff. They've got those new, like these little guys. This is the pink apple. Oh, this is adorable. Okay, so I would say this is like a really great, more of a subtle but everyday bronzer look. Now we're gonna try a little more dramatic. I'm wiping this off so that I don't have any like cross color contamination. So that was the shade Cove with the foundation shade Clay, which was just the blendable bronzer in the lightest shade, which is my skin tone. Okay, now we're going in with this one. This is Mesa. I have not seen anyone play with these, so I don't really know exactly how other people are doing it. Probably should have looked to see if anything was out there before to see what colors people were using. But okay, now I'm gonna go in and kind of like blend it out. Okay, so taking it and softening up the edges. And that is definitely a more dramatic, darker color, with these blend amazing. Sometimes a product will come out from different brands and I'm always honest of how much I love it, what colors I love, like where I feel like it falls for being competitive, or like sometimes stuff comes out and I'm like, I just don't like it. This has exceeded my expectations. So I think I'm leaning more towards this side. What do you guys think? But if you are not super great with makeup and you're like wanting a little more subtle, maybe you're fairer than I am. If I was spray tan, I for sure would have to do Mesa. Non-spray tan, I'm just in a hurry and I just want to look like very naturally warm. This Oasis. Those are really great on. Okay, I'm going to put a little bit of that Pink Apple. This is Ophir's Cheek Tone Blush. I like the darker one, which I would have never, when I opened it, I was like, whoo, this is not me, girl. This is, you gotta be dark for that. And it's just very blendable. And okay. I'm gonna get closer because I feel like sometimes it's just easier to see skin texture. These are like flawless full coverage. I'm gonna use a little setting powder. Could they be an eyeshadow too? Maybe. I don't know if they're tested as an eyeshadow, but I love using a bronzer as an eyeshadow. Okay, Ophir setting powder, I go over my lips, but I like the look of kind of a more dewy. I also did not use primer. This is without primer on my skin. I just use skincare. Like, I'm just shook because I'm gonna use primer tomorrow and see, I don't know how it could possibly be any creamier than it already is. Or maybe you don't need a primer with this one. I'm not sure. I'll try it tomorrow with a primer, but I'm blown away at just how like airbrush looking it looks. Just because I think I want to match for the day. Now just a little bit of that darker one. A little goes a long way as well. I'm using a fluffy brush, barely stippling. Like you can't even see really where I've gotten it. I would say these are very creamy. If you take your makeup with you and you leave it in the car, I can just tell by the consistency. Take it from experience. You cannot leave creams in cars. That goes for lipstick, cream foundations. Thank me later, but you can't. Okay, so Adam's deleting Facebook. And so I feel like I could talk about this and he's not gonna know. He's deleting it because we're trying to really pay attention to our screen time. So like if I'm not working and I'm not actively trying to find something trendy, just being more intentional. Some of our days are so much screen time, it's embarrassing. And I get easily distracted with screen time, so does he. He really doesn't have a reason to be on Facebook. Only thing I really need to do is probably videos, maybe watch a couple, like if I still wanted to see how somebody else was doing a look. But I want to be just more intentional with my time. Like I'm hopping on to do this and then hopping off. Like I'm hopping on to watch this video, or, and I know this sounds silly as somebody who does social media as their job to say, hey, we're like really taking a look at it. But I think if you have things you enjoy, social media can be great, can be a great little escape, but if you're not careful, it can be a lot of your time just sucked out. And you're like, man, if I was gonna spend 3 hours today doing something, is that what I would have done? So he's getting rid of Facebook. So I booked a trip for his birthday. He's gonna be 42, and he absolutely loves birthday trips. He loves traveling. And since we were together, he has always talked about a trip he took with another girl. And he went on a trip with someone years ago that was to Leaf Peak, which is like going on a road trip. Now, no one tell him I'm taking on this. I'm trusting you because he doesn't know we're doing it. But I booked the flights today, and I'm going to take him leaf peeking, and we're gonna go through Vermont and up into Maine and take him on a trip, just like 4 days, just this. So if you have any ideas of things to do, we found a festival. So on this trip he took with Mystery Woman, he said it's like, he talks about it multiple times since we've been together, just what a fun trip this was and how beautiful it was. But one of the things they did was they went to a festival where they carved out giant pumpkins, and they hopped in the pumpkins. Not them, they watched this. People hopped in these giant pumpkins and rode across the lake, and it was like this pumpkin thing. Has anyone ever heard of this? And so he was just saying how fun it was and what a good time, and he would love to take me there one day, and that it was just like such a beautiful trip, and that, you know, so great, and he thought I would love it. But I know he loves it because he loves a good road trip, and he loves a good drive, and he loves the leaves, and we don't really get a fall season here. So that's what we're gonna go do. So I booked the flights earlier, and I have childcare lined up, and I have to book a rental car and where we're gonna stay, and then I had ChatGPT help me with like where to fly in and out of. It was a direct flight from here, and just how to plan our trip, like what coffee shops. There's like a farm that makes maple syrup we're gonna stop at, and I'm just planning out this whole little trip of fun things for us to do. And then like lobster roll in Maine. I don't know, I just think, I also love planning trips and I love traveling. So this is like all the wins for both of us. And I've tried doing this for several years, but it hasn't worked out. So his birthday is in November, and all the leaves are dead by then. So we have gone on road trips to like Mount Zion and Utah and just different things, but never like this leafy, beautiful, dreamy, like Gilmore Girls, Stars Hollow type trip. And so we're gonna go to that. So we're gonna go mid-October, and that's when it was recommended to go. It was actually recommended to go early or late September, early October, so I hope they'll still be around. But that festival is mid-October, so. Apple picking and fresh apples, that's such a good idea. So I think because we have so many children, it's super important to try and be intentional to like, they can survive without us from a Friday to a Monday. Yeah, and then he'll have memories of me and not just Mystery Woman. Exactly. No. Probably the only reason he's talked about it is because he really loved, well, maybe he loved her too, I have no idea, but I'm sure at some point he did. But anyways, we're gonna re-stamp that as new core memory with your wife. That's just me being funny, but I'm not like a jealous person or anything, promise. But yeah, so if anybody's from there or you've traveled, you've done this before, you have ideas of where to go, help me out. And I'm telling you, if you're sitting on ChatGPT, when I made our trip, we did a trip after we got married, where at the time we were co-parenting, and my ex had the kids for 2 weeks. We'd already gone on our honeymoon, but he had them for 2 weeks for just some reason. We were like, well, maybe we should go on a road trip. I don't know. And so we ended up on a road trip and just flew out west and got a car. But we started in Vegas, went all the way up to Mount Zion, and then all the way back down to Sedona, and we went on a road trip. It was before Veda was born, and we did that, but ChatGPT wasn't a thing. So I had to kind of like Google and do blogs and try and figure out where are we going, you know, or what this route would be. I would say I did it well, considering I'd never done that before, but it wasn't perfect. I also rented us like a Camaro, and we had luggage, so it sat totally standing up and didn't fit unless like the roof was up. It was a little hairy, and so then we had to like figure out how to stack it, but then you couldn't see out the back. Anyways, because eventually where we were going got cold, and so there were definitely some learning curves. Now AI is a thing, and so you could just say, I want to, even if you like do it for somewhere you live, like one of the options was Cades Cove or Chattanooga, like that kind of area, which is where we were from. Like you could easily just put in, I'm looking to go to like to fall festivals with a pretty route within 2 hours of where I live. Can you put together a day activity or a weekend activity? And you can just ask different questions and it will put you together a full itinerary. Or maybe you're like, I would like to fly to go look at the leaves in Vermont, you know, and or whatever you want to do. And wherever it is. But we were looking through our camera roll not too long ago, and we have gotten to go on a few trips over the years. Sometimes I earn like trip credit for companies I work for. It's like a bonus of incentivizing people. Like sometimes different brands will be like, oh, when you sell this much you get this, or when you have worked with them so long or brought in so many people to a company, you get like a reward trip or something. And sometimes it's to a specific place. Like there's one coming up to the Bahamas I'm not going to get to go on, but I could have, you know. But some of them have been like, oh, go to New York for the weekend, and it kind of ends up being free, so that's really nice. So, but we were talking about like, oh, a couple of the trips we've gotten to go on, they were like, we left on a Friday and came back on a Monday, which doesn't seem like a lot of time, but it was really fun because you got to just experience just a small bit of it. It wasn't too long that you're too worn out. It was just really fun. So if you don't do a weekend, and it could be, we've even done it like close to where we live, you know, and in Tennessee and here, like where you go drive for the day, like up into the mountains. It's just so nice. Pam, we are here permanently. We bought our house here, unless something crazy happened, but we don't have any plans of moving back to the States as of right now. I mean, I don't know what the future holds 100%. I didn't know a year and a half ago I'd be moving here, so you never know. But as of right now, we really love it in Puerto Rico and have kind of replanted our lives here. How do you do ChatGPT? Is in an app? Yes. So you can either download their app, or you can just go to chatgpt.com, and it will ask prompts. I use the free version. Adam has the paid version. At some point I might do the paid version as well, but it's free. And you get so many prompts or questions you can ask a day. Sometimes I get a little crazy and I ask a lot of questions. And it'll say like, you've hit your limit for today unless you upgrade. So keep that in mind as well. But you could even say, I'm looking for flights to Paris, flexible of going, like when we lived in Chattanooga, I could be like flexible of leaving out of Knoxville, Atlanta, or Nashville. Find me the cheapest price, I don't care when it is. And it will just skim through and find you that. It's amazing. It's so great. Okay, you think you watched old videos? It was moving day and you were undecided. So when we first moved down here, we did not know if it would be for just the summer. Like we just rented a house, we'd never been here before, we'd never visited, and we didn't know for sure like how it would work out job-wise and just all the things. And so when we first moved here, we did not know, would it be just for the summer or would we actually move here permanently? And we ended up moving permanently, so. All right, I feel like this looks really pretty. We're gonna do a cute little lip look and I'm done. Also, I'm gonna take this off. If you've never gotten Erase Pre-Cleanser, this is why you wanna get this, you guys. It's like an oil base and it will melt all your makeup right off. So good. All right, where is my lip liner? No idea, so I'm just gonna use this. This is just Ophir's Velvet Blonde Matte Lipstick. Okay, Aaron gave some advice. Obviously I don't work with ChatGPT or anything. I just feel like it has tremendously helped me in my life. So I love sharing helpful things. Keep in mind, double check things, like especially if it is, I'm depending on this information, like as fact, you know, like do I need a visa into this country? Maybe double check like really important details. But for little things like I'm looking for a meal plan, 5 days, I like chicken, I need to hit this many protein goals. Or maybe you don't know what your protein goals should be. Put in your age, your weight, your height, all of it, and like you're looking to lose weight, what would your protein goals be? Like you can really utilize it, and the more you use it, the more you kind of understand how it works. And you're like, oh, things you just don't know. I'm like, oh, that's ChatGPT. Just saves you a lot of Google searching because it kind of searches the web for you. Or makes a plan. Like Christian's entire homeschool plan is all because we came up with it, like working together with him and ChatGPT. What is the oil called? Is it on Ophir? So this is actually from Pomifera. It's called Erase Pre-Cleanser. It's under $20 and it melts your makeup away. It is so good. It's the skincare company that I absolutely love, and they have fabulous skincare, but that's a really good one. Okay, this is the shade Hibiscus and it is Ophir. So we do still have Camp Swan, but it's up for sale. We've gotten 2 offers on it. Hasn't sold yet, like we didn't accept them, but it was just featured on Zillow Gone Wild last week. And we've gotten a lot of buzz about it lately. We are just searching for peace in our life. I think at one point I was really searching for like purpose, and then also not necessarily like busyness, but trying to be like doing great with reinvesting. Or my husband does real estate. That's like what we do. He loves flipping houses. We flipped a lot of houses and done different things. And recently we've kind of been like, things break or things like need fixing, or it's a lot to juggle, and I just want like less debt and more peace. That's just being honest. And I think that's growth. Full transparency, had people along the way be like, you'll never make it, you won't do good. And I don't think I was ever trying to like prove anyone wrong that I could make it, but I wanted to like do good, like be successful, or in a way like prove to family or friends or enemies, whatever you want to call it, that, you know, I like built from the ground up and that I'm not going to be in poverty forever. And look at, I took on way too many things. And then as I've matured, I guess, or I did that and maybe it wasn't as fulfilling as I thought it was going to be. I was like, okay, I did that, but at what cost does that come from? Like taking away from my kids or different things. And as I'm getting older, I'm just kind of evaluating what, you know, what we want as our big goals. So and I'm in a season where I think we're just, let's sell, let's get out of debt, let's work on our health, and let's work on like a little more time freedom where I don't feel as stressed each month to have to us do as much, you know. But contentment, yes. And I think that comes with growth. I don't regret any of the things we did. We owned a boutique. That was something like I always wanted to do, and we did it. And then it took a lot of time away from our family, like a lot, so much. And it took time away from like my business doing this. And we had to evaluate at one point, do we keep doing this? And I felt like failing to give that up. It wasn't failing. It was, I tried it. And I'm not sure this is where I want to keep spending all my time. And that's the exciting part of being a grown-up. You go through different stages, different phases, and you really are like, is this what I want? And if it isn't, you're a grown-up, change it. You don't like your job? Start looking for another one. Like, you don't like whatever it is. Pivot. You want new friends? Go to the YMCA. Go to a group. Go to a new Pilates class. Go to whatever you like to do. Say hi when you go to a baseball game. Introduce yourself to your other kids' friends. Like, put yourself out there. If you know, like, I don't know. Do we want more kids? We've been trying for like the last almost year. It just hasn't happened. If it happened, I'll be really happy. And if it doesn't happen, we're kind of at the place where our kids are getting bigger. And if it doesn't happen, then it just wasn't supposed to happen. So that's where we are on kids. If it does happen, I'll tell you. Today I did not do like a super red look because I have a lot of red going on, so it's a little more subtle. And then I am going to put just a tiny bit of a chapstick over it because I just like it. And I don't think there's any right or wrong. You can be in your hustle season and it's so empowering. You can be like trying to boss babe or getting out of poverty, or you can be growing or working on a health journey, and that can be so inspiring. But you can also be like learning to rest and learning to say no and learning to like love your body where you are. And that's equally as beautiful. And it's not like a one up, one down, you know? It's just like finding who you are and enjoying, like, does the things, like, if you could create your ideal life, what would your everyday look like? And if some of the things you're doing is like, no, I would not be doing this, then if possible, okay, if you don't really like that's, or same thing with screen time, like, would I be spending 3 or 4 hours a day on my phone? No, that's not my ideal life, you know, like, of scrolling to no end whatever. And so I'm just trying to create new habits and just make smart decisions. So I don't know if anybody else. Have you ever gone through that, like different seasons where you're like, huh, like what I wanted kind of changed? I just went in with a little lighter because I feel like it needs it. I actually would love to write a book, Stephanie. I have that on my little things I would love to do, and one of them is write a book. And every now and then I get inspired and I write a couple pages in my notes on my phone of things that I think I would like to write a book about, like being unapologetically yourself and learning who you are and all these things. And then every now and then I'm like, oh, I don't know, maybe one day. Okay, friends, it's our finished look. Absolutely love this new little Geosculpt powders, but they're not powders, they're creams. If you want to do the sups and steps challenge with me, I'll post this little graphic today. You can take a screenshot of it and then put in your steps and what supplements you took that day, and just a good little accountability tracker. And if you have questions on anything, you can send me a message. Last day for the $10 off for Beautiful You. And anyways, I'll show you the full outfit. I look happier. I am happy. I'm like really happy, and not like faking being happy. And I think a lot of my life, like I spent faking being happy and trying to be like what everybody wanted me to be, or that I was really, really sad and unhappy, but like, oh, I'm good, everything's fine. And right now, like moving here has truly been such a blessing, and I just like the way our lives are here. I am really happy, and I wish that for everybody. So if you're in a place where you don't feel happy, I encourage you to like make a list of things that you think you could change that could maybe make you happy. And this has nothing to do with money, or maybe it does. Write down, I want to make this much more, and then let your brain start looking for ways you can, but like what your life looks like to be happier, because it's possible. So anyways, full little outfit. I got this a little while ago from Abercrombie. I'm gonna throw in some, it is a 2-piece set. How was an earring? I was looking for this earlier. It's my ear cuff, but it's green. We'll clean that before we put it back on. Okay, this is a little 2-piece set, and it is a little sport action. So I'm gonna throw in some white tennis shoes, and you could roll it up a little if you really want to. I have a short torso, so it doesn't give any mid-drift, but I've seen other people wear it where they have a lot of mid-drift. But I think that's because they have a longer torso than I do, and I'm kind of a not very tall girl. Deodorant, because it's always good to wear deodorant. And if I don't do it when I think about it, I'll get out there and be stinky later. So anyways, if you want to do this challenge with me, I think it'll be a fun way to stay accountable to each other for getting our steps in. And I hope you guys have the best day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye guys.